Oh, there he is. You're real. Yeah, I know now that you're a real person, so that's good.
Um, you know, I'm
Yeah.
not just the guy with the coffee mugs.
Oh, I love it. I love it. You can hear me okay?
Um, can you hear me okay? Yeah, I can hear
Okay. What was that? Yeah, okay, cool. You can hear me, I can hear you. What's that? What you got?
you. Did you even watch The Sting?
Oh, I didn't hear the music. Now I'm hearing
Come
it.
on,
Yeah.
baby.
Man, yeah, I couldn't at first I was thinking like, did that come from the Sting? But no, it came from like 1902 or something. So I was wrong on that. Um,
Did you check it? It's funny. I'm relying on you to classic ragtime. Yeah, I guess it did.
I
Yeah,
yeah, classic ragtime. Yeah, I looked that up today, and yeah, it's
it's really wild how like I mean I love it and but I didn't realize I mean God, it made a ton of money like for a movie like that.
right.
It a crap, I mean, I guess you Redford and Paul Newman and
Well, yeah, you got those
although I
two.
guess Newman had a couple of movies that hadn't done all that well box office wise, like the couple of previous years, like maybe since Butch Cassidy or something like that. But um, it's I mean, it was great. Like it won, production design awards, and it would have won Best Director, Best Picture.
Yeah,
I mean, I
best
think it's like a
picture.
perfect movie almost.
Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna get into all that. I do my intros in post, so don't worry about that. I edit, so all that jazz. So we're just gonna, yeah. I mean, this what we already said will probably be in the episode, so we're basically on at this point. So usually just kind of shoot the shit a little at the beginning, and then get into the movie, and yeah, that's all. So sorry if
And you're what is your day job?
I work for a bank, Capital One. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
I owe you guys money.
yeah, it's what's in your wallet, So it's I owe us money as well, so you're in good company.
It's funny that guy is a guy who's the spokesman who used to be like a pilot. I think is what he maybe used to be. It's funny. He's very appealing. I can see why they just keep using him. The guy who does the ads. I guess Jennifer Garner does ads too. I think
Yeah, Jennifer Garner. I know Sam Jackson did it. Alec Baldwin. Yeah, they got some
Oh, am I
big
thinking
names.
of the Chase guy?
Oh, that's
Capital
you
One.
can't talk
I
Chase.
could
I'm
I
not
could be
allowed to.
thinking of the competition.
I'm not allowed to say
That's
that.
like that's like bringing up Staples. You know,
Exactly.
that's
So why
outrageous.
what goes on with Andy Buckley? Like what's going on during COVID? Why is it so hard to narrow down a date for Mr. Buckley?
I
If it's too personal, don't worry about it. You don't have to
no,
answer.
I haven't seen many movies. I had to like what, no. No, fuck. It's freaking terrible. Like my kids aren't made for online schooling and
Oh, tell me about it.
I mean it's the Saturday Night Fever dinner table scene times 100, constantly in my house. Everybody's screaming at each other. It's like, you know, the PlayStation is on too long and
Yeah.
it's good, but then it's on. It's like it's midnight. Turn that fucking thing off. I don't know if I can swear,
No, you're good. You're
but I
good.
did.
You did. So
Um,
it's too late. So
I guess I can. I guess I still am able to. Whether you'll
yeah,
edit
you're
it out or
fine.
not, I don't know. But I'm
Nah,
still able to.
I try to
But
edit.
no, that, and then I go over to London in a month, which is crazy. It's great. It's great. But it's like wow, I'm going to be gone for most of like 5 months, and
Yeah.
there's going to be no going back and forth.
What are you going to London
And
for?
it's not for a job or anything.
Yeah.
It's just because I just can't stand being here. No.
Yeah. It's because you can. That's
Yeah.
why. I,
No, it's this show Avenue 5, this HBO thing we're doing over there. So
oh, okay. Is that which I can't I
It's
obviously
it's the thing where on the cruise ship in outer space, in
oh
space. It's
yeah with
Hugh Laurie's Hugh and Josh Gad and
Josh Gad,
Zach
that's
Woods is
right.
on it. And
Yeah.
it's super funny. I mean, it's crazy, like nuts, super funny. And the fellow that created it is Armando Iannucci, who's the guy that did Veep, and he's got the David Copperfield movie that I don't know if it's in theaters now or what.
Yeah.
It was, but he's just one of them. They're genius types.
Right. Have you been over there
Comedically,
since COVID?
no, I haven't been anywhere since COVID.
Yeah.
It's although I haven't been anywhere. Um,
Wow.
but yeah, so I'll go and it's nuts that my wife starts working on something that will keep her. She's always busy. She's an acting coach. I don't know if
Right.
you saw that, an
Yeah,
acting
yeah, I saw
teacher.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
But she's much more interesting than me. I'm just a guy who got lucky getting a job
Well,
and
yeah, I
didn't get fired.
that's why I scheduled this interview to try to, see if,
Get
you
to
can
her.
get me. Yeah,
I know.
exactly. Yeah. So, you know what's up, So
I'm used to it. I'm used to it.
are you but so yeah, obviously you go to London. I definitely I saw the clip for Avenue 5. I definitely want to check that out. Avenue 5 or Fifth Avenue? I don't Avenue 5, right? Yeah.
Either one, they're both
Yeah,
they're
it
both
works.
equally crazy and funny.
It works. Now,
But no, it's Avenue 5.
yeah.
Now you know what? Here you go. So that's ironic. Right behind me, if you can see that, there's a body. There's a guy on a ledge right there.
Uh-huh.
That's me,
What?
and it's from the other guys. If you ever saw that,
Yes.
and I was the guy on the ledge, and that
Yep.
was 11 years ago today.
Today, look at that. You were on the ledge 11 years ago, or it was released
Yeah.
11 years ago?
No,
Okay.
no, I was on the ledge 11 years ago. It was
Wow. Man, time flies. It's already been 11 years. That's insane. Yeah.
it's absolutely crazy. 10, and it's funny. It coincides technically. 10 years ago, this movie Life as We Know It, which Katherine Heigl and Josh Duhamel, a really sweet movie. Those two movies were like the first two movies I was at. Not that I've been in many, but the first
Right.
two movies I was ever in. And it was a crazy thing. I got hired like this within like the same week or two for both movies. The Life as We Know It one first, and it's what, like, I didn't know anything about like movies, or those are studio movies, like like there's a whole process you get, unless you're I guess some big name or whatever. But in that case, I audition, and you have to get approved by like the studio, then someone
Right.
else. Like there's a few levels of it. And anyway, I got approved by Warner Brothers first to do Life as We Know It. And then I knew they wanted to hire me, and they were going to hire me on the other guys. But it took an extra week or something like that to get approved. Anyway, long story, here we go. I'm just beginning the story. Is there was this day, October 8th, was a problem. So I officially said yes to Life as We Know It. And then my 2 days of working on that were like September 15th and October 6th in Atlanta.
Uh-huh.
And my first day on the other guys was October 8th. And like that, it's that scene. And like they've permitted, and, a year in advance, because they got to shut down all of Wall Street where the bowl is. It's on a Saturday,
Yeah.
but still, they shut it down, all that stuff. And they weren't going to let me. They weren't going to let me do the other guys, because I had like contractually I was obligated to the other movie. And it's funny, like at first I was like, well, let me try and work it out. And then I was trying to work it out, and then I was like, well, I mean, I want to do the other guys. Like, can't I just quit the other movie? Like, I would feel bad and all that, and it'd be great, and I would, but like, if I have to choose, I'd want to do the Will Ferrell Wahlberg movie and Michael Keaton and blah blah blah. I mean,
No
and
offense,
then I learned that was like, it's like, it's not great to do that. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
Like, I'm just a stockbroker. I don't care. I mean, there's a million guys that can play that part, which is basically any part I'm casting.
Oh,
But
stop that. Stop that.
so I get the guy who and I every year I send an email to the two ADs, or not two ADs, but the two one guy's an AD, a guy named Michael Lerman, who does all the huge Bond movies and everything now. He was the guy in Life as We Know It. And then a guy named Josh Church, who now is, I don't know if he's like second in command at Judd Apatow's thing. He was at Mosaic, like the big management company.
Okay.
And they produced all of those movies. Also that guy, Jimmy Miller. And Pat Conroy, and it all comes sort of, not full circle, but Pat Conroy was like the main nuts and bolts, producer on the other guys. They were so great. They allowed me to try and work it out.
Yeah.
And it was just a tremendous, they were fantastic. And then ultimately I got very lucky because like weather changed and blah, blah, blah. But I just started sending gift freaking baskets of muffins and all kinds of shit. And I was able to get a copy of The Day Out of Days, which is the thing that, you see, okay, here's the scheduling, here's the shooting. And it's astounding how little wiggle room there is. Once they have something set, there's like not a lot of wiggle room because you got Josh Duhamel's schedule, and then you got, Catherine's schedule,
right?
And then you got indoors, outdoors, and other people's schedules, and blah blah blah, and this location is only permitted for such and such. Anyway, I drove my wife insane for 6 weeks trying to figure it out, and they allowed me to try and figure it out for 6 weeks, which was really wild.
Yeah,
and then it came down to like the last. Not the last weekend in October, but it was like September. I'd done my first day. So I guess there were like 2 or 3 weeks to go before they had to film the scene. And Allison Jones, who's my patron saint, put me in so many things. She lets me know, like, Buckley, you got that. If you don't have it written, like signed by the head of the studio of the other guy, Sony, saying, he's going to be released, blah, blah, blah. And that would, something that would never happen,
right.
Never going to happen. They have to get somebody else on Monday. And then I fly down to Atlanta, do my first scene. This is like Thursday. I come home Friday or Saturday. Sunday morning, the phone rings, and it's the guy, Michael Lerman. And I mean, it's been 6 weeks, and I'm so depressed. I'm so depressed. And he says, Buckley, Lerman, it's your lucky day. I said, yeah. And he said, tomorrow it's going to pour. We're going to a cover set. We're doing your scene. You can do the other movie. And
oh man.
I mean, I still get like, all choked up thinking about it. It's, I mean, it's like burst into tears. I was so happy.
I'm sure how crazy it is for it to work out that way. Just, man,
the luckiest, the luck of the Irish.
That's awesome. And it all comes, that story, folks, came from that picture behind Andy there.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
It's that's an awesome picture too.
And that was great. That was like just some guy who's a photographer in New York who just happened to be walking by and like saw us doing the scene and took a bunch of shots. And he's like, I don't know if he's whatever it was, he was like for the New Yorker. And so then like a month later or a week later, I don't know.
Yeah.
There was like a 4-page spread in the New Yorker, all these photos, which was cool.
Yeah. That's awesome. Now, I mean, I would be remiss if I didn't ask anything about it, but I have to ask, you can be not honest.
My Silk Stockings episode, you can ask.
What was that?
My Silk Stockings episode?
Yeah.
That's the one. Everybody wants to know about that one.
Yeah, that was, the
incredible
peak of TV. Obviously. Sorry. So do you get sick of people mentioning The Office ever?
I wouldn't be getting to do anything if it wasn't for that. So never.
I figured, yeah. I mean, it's kind of what, made you recognizable. It's people, me and my wife still mostly fall asleep to that show every night, not because it's boring, but just because it's comforting. But
it's I mean, it's insane. I'm reaching to get if I were sick of it, would I have the David Wallace
oh
business
man stories? Look at that. Look at that. That's beautiful. And
Bam.
you had the for people listening, yeah, you had the Dunder Mifflin mug even. So yeah, you're representing all over. So, but yeah, I just wanted, just wanted to ask that. But yeah, I mean, it's yeah,
No, I mean, my God, it's like, and it's crazy. I reference Al Jones, the other guys. She's as I said, my patron saint. She's the one who, put me in the office and 10 other things that,
yeah, yeah, it's insane,
it's,
man. Yeah, it's yeah, just yeah. Well, I'll say my things at the end. We're obviously going to get to the sting here, but I do also want to ask one question about The Office. Did you know it was going to be your last scene with Steve Carell when you shot it? Because it wasn't your last scene with him in the hot tub when he came over for Suck It.
oh, that boy, that's so funny. I don't even think of that. But yeah, I guess that was the last scene, and I guess I don't know what the chronology of the day was.
Yeah.
If it was him in the car backing out, if we actually filmed that scene last, which I think we did. But yeah, that's funny. Yeah, because then I was gone for like a year and a half. I was gone during that time. Because I used to see him separate of that. Like our kids were at the same little elementary school.
Oh, okay.
And it's where all the Hollywood players go, baby. No,
Yeah.
no, it's this great little, elementary school. And it's funny, like he and his wife, Nancy, my wife's also Nancy, were they helped, they were like one of our recommendations,
Yeah.
it was like,
Nice.
and were very helpful in getting us in the craziness of
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. But so I would see him like but yeah, that's funny. I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess
I don't know what made me think of that. I was thinking like, yeah, David Wallace, yeah, because they were with Saber and stuff. So like, I don't think he was around like in the last season. So with that, Steve Carell was on. But anyways, just it was curious. So yeah, now I know.
I got it. My son, my teenage son, who freaking can't stand me these days, just popped his head in and said, "Can I have some money?"
I'm not looking
No,
forward to those days. My oldest is 10, so
it changes from he just turned 15, and it's like COVID doesn't help.
yeah, I'm sure.
It's like,
Got to see you guys all the time, and
yeah, no, I have not gotten an email, bud. Something having to do with
sorry, guy.
PlayStation.
Sorry about that.
But no, it's great. Enjoy 10, 11, 12, and then I mean, hopefully.
He's already got an attitude problem at 10, so it's yeah, in this virtual school, yeah, like you were saying earlier, it's yeah, it doesn't help. It doesn't help at all.
It's really crazy. It's yeah, it's nuts. But no,
hey,
that's funny. I didn't even think of that. But yeah, I guess that was.
Yeah, it was. And
I mean, it was certainly a fun.
Didn't even know it.
It was a freaking fun day. You froze up, which you froze up for a second.
You did too. Say that sentence again.
I just said it was certainly a fun day. I mean, my God, what a blast of a day and we like that, all that stuff we just shot in one day, and it was
well, it was so fun to because you're used to seeing David Wallace composed and has his wits about him, and then now he's just unemployed and just I think I might go outside. I think I might go outside, and talking about Suck It. And yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, it's great to see that side of David Wallace. And yeah, you did it brilliantly.
Gosh, that was,
to you, my man.
That was crazy fun.
I'm sure. But yeah, obviously we're here to talk 1973's The Sting, directed by George Roy Hill, starring, you may have heard of them, Robert Redford and Paul Newman. Now, Andy asks every guest this when they pick a film. Obviously, we're going to get into it, but why did you pick this film?
I thought you picked it. No, I picked it. I love it. I think it's maybe a perfect movie, And like in the thing I sent, I was like, maybe we'll do some Warren Beatty movies from the 70s and 80s, and I'm sure like the guy. There's so many people know so much about The Godfather and all that, but I bet like I bet people who are of hypothetically, of whatever younger generation there is, like I bet they haven't seen it. I bet they don't know it. They don't know
Right.
how. I mean, it's like Brad Pitt is spectacular. I mean, he's beautiful and all that. And so because of that, you don't really realize how incredible an actor he is, how fantastic. Both Newman and Redford, both of those guys, they're so freaking beautiful
Right.
that you don't really. I mean, they're just spectacular actors,
Yeah.
and that, I mean, my God, that movie, and oh my God, Robert Shaw, like
Oh,
Robert Shaw had like a 5 or 6 year period where he was just like the king. He was so fantastic. That and God, what's the thing? Black Sunday and obviously Jaws. I mean,
oh well,
and
yeah.
then he was one of the Bond villains early on, and God, well,
I gotta admit, I think this was my, I think I've only seen Jaws and The Sting from Robert Shaw. Watching this again makes me want to, visit all his other films because yeah, he's absolutely incredible in this. I mean, obviously he's incredible in Jaws, but yeah, in this, yeah, he's
and
such a presence, you know.
it's so crazy. Like, and how about this? That's the thing. Everybody in those days looked so like they just looked so much more mature. Like he died. He died when he was 51, Shaw, and I think he died in like 1980 or 1981. So in The Sting, he's like 42, and he looks like he's 60,
Yeah,
or
which
whatever.
right,
I
yeah.
mean, these guys, like, I don't know if it's that they are like the drink, or if it's just how they're built and made in those days, and they just look older and more mature.
I was reading up on that. Yeah, I think he died, yeah, from a heart attack, and he was an alcoholic and everything, and he died from a heart attack while driving and had to pull over and like got out of the car and like collapsed and died right there in front of his family. Like it was pretty pretty messed up. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
supposedly,
crazy how old they look. Especially yeah, 2 years later in Jaws, like he seems like yeah, this old
yeah,
man.
he supposedly some who told one of the guys that I was with, who it's like an English actor. I can't remember who. That he gets out of the car, and then I guess he thought to stop his heart. He just started sprinting, and he thought somehow that, and then that didn't help. I
Oh
guess,
wow. Yeah.
or maybe it helped, but it didn't help enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Yeah. Who I don't know if I would think to do that while while going through that. Let me take a run. But yeah, I mean, yeah, when you're trying to save your own life, I guess that's what you're gonna do.
yeah, who knows?
But it's funny you mentioned Brad Pitt. I've been saying that a few episodes now. We did like a Thelma and Louise episode. One of his first movies, and
Yeah,
yeah, I think him being like quote unquote a heartthrob kind of hindered people's view of him, like and not really truly understanding that he is actually a phenomenal actor.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, yeah,
yeah, and yeah, Paul Newman, Paul Newman, man. Every time
has
that
been for
smile, man, that smile and those blue eyes, I'm just like, oh man,
stunning. Yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
and I mean, yeah, Newman, God, like The Verdict, and Cool Hand Luke, and freaking Fast Eddie, and then as he gets older, like the thing with what was it called? Such a beautiful movie. It was him and Philip Seymour Hoffman's in it, and it's the small town, and there's Sully, he's the sheriff. God, what is it? What is it called?
oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Well, might as well look it up because I can edit.
Because we can do that. But like that, and I mean, just let alone, and it's really wild because if you read a little about James Dean, like the two of them, James Dean and Paul Newman, were both like they were right there neck and neck, and then Dean goes down, as they
Yeah,
say,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's
or
yeah,
whatever. And that's the thing. I was gonna maybe pick one of his too, because like he only made 3 movies, and people have seen the red coat and the like the image of him and jeans and everything, and he's like the cool guy from Rebel Without a Cause, but like he's freaking fantastic in that. And East of Eden. East of
yeah.
Eden's the movie that like made me become an actor.
Really?
Sorry, folks. Um, yeah, I had seen, not that I'd seen, it was raining one, afternoon. I was in somewhere between ninth and 10th grade, I guess. And so I would have been 19. No, because I'm an idiot. No, and I just this thing comes on and I'm watching it and East of Eden, and it's like the most incredible movie I'd ever seen. And oh my God. And I call my dad at his office and like, have you ever heard of this guy, James Dean? I just saw this movie. This was incredible.
Yeah.
And he's like laughs. James Dean. And but that, yeah. And then Giant, my God, he's amazing, Giant. And then I think he had died before all three of those movies had come out. Like he had made all three of them, and I don't even think one of them had come out yet. He had just people. If people would have seen him,
Right.
they would have only seen him in those Playhouse 90 things.
Yeah.
That were, Well, it's so funny. I'm sure people listening are like, "What the fuck is he talking about?" Playhouse.
No, it's great.
Who's James Dean.
No, man, it's great. Actually, that is one I do need to. That's one of my blind spots is James Dean movies, and also, like you said earlier, Warren Beatty movies. I haven't delved deep into those movies much. So
it's funny. He makes such great movies, and I've actually gotten. I don't know him all that well. My wife knows him pretty well. My wife used to work for him and knows him pretty well. And it's so I've gotten to meet him half a dozen times and everything, or more, I guess. And this is Warren. He's like the world's greatest guy. It's unbelievable.
Really,
I can see how any like woman on the planet would just melt for him.
Sure.
And frankly, like you kind of melt if you're a guy. Like he's just in a way that like this
Right.
guy is so engaging, and it's funny. He's just interested and he's just a world-class great guy, and smart, still smart as hell, and
Yeah.
in tremendous shape, and he's a health nut and all that.
Yeah.
But anyway, his like some of his movies are just, I mean, Heaven Can Wait's freaking fantastic, and Shampoo, and obviously Bonnie and Clyde, and then like Reds, and I mean he's super.
Yeah, it would be.
But I digress.
No, yeah, it would be great to see him again in something. I think he's retired, I believe. Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, like his last movie, that thing. What is it? It was his Howard Hughes movie. Lily Collins and that Alden and Rick, the guy that's the young Han Solo. It's so what's it called? It's funny. It's like you watch it and it's like, man, this is a freaking movie.
Yeah.
It's whether you like it or not. I happen to love it, but you can't. It was like when Francis Coppola makes a movie. It's a freaking movie, like this is a movie, like the great movie makers, Steven Spielberg,
Definitely.
It's not like something that you could watch on TV because,
And it looks like the Philip Seymour Hoffman, Paul Newman thing was, it was a mini series, Empire Falls. Does that sound familiar?
You are mistaken, sir. That could be no, like
Maybe
that
was
be
something else. Maybe they did.
Like, I was gonna say that was probably something else.
Okay.
No, this one was this movie, and it was Robert, God, one of the great writers. We'll look it up. Movie with Paul Newman and Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Look at you taking it. It's funny you mentioned, how few movies.
No, there you go. Nobody's Fool.
Oh, is that? I saw that on here, but I didn't see Philip Seymour Hoffman anywhere. But I guess. Oh, now I see him. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, he wasn't like one of the. It was a big ensemble, and it was. I mean, it's funny. 94. It's not. It's definitely early in his career. Like he wasn't quite starring in movies yet, but he was.
Well, and it's funny you mentioned how
he was, I guess the first big thing that.
Sorry, yeah, I think we get a little.
Is my internet bad? It might be.
It's probably mine. No, no
No,
worries.
it's probably mine. I hear that it's mine all the time. So,
It's funny you mentioned the few movies James Dean did. You know, you hear Robert Redford and Paul Newman. You know, you hear that as a movie fan all the time. But I never realized until researching for the show, like this this was their second, and they've only done two movies together. Like,
yeah, yeah.
for some reason, I thought like they had like a whole list of
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, there was just these two. I mean, obviously, same director, which he also did. The director also did Slapshot, which I saw you tweeted you watched the other night, and your kid wasn't.
No, it's funny. I didn't watch that the other night. I just thought that was a funny thing. And that was because my son's actually 9. He's about to be. But it's funny. I thought that would be I think I tweeted that same type of thing about a year ago. It's like, I watched The Deer Hunter the other night with my 8-year-old, and he just didn't get it. It's really disappointing. I just like pick a movie
that makes more sense, because I was thinking, oh, interesting. You watched
he had a 7-year-old watch Slapshot.
Okay, that makes yes. If I saw the Deer Hunter tweet, I'd be like, oh yeah, he's just saying that.
This is part of this is the series. It's going to be Clockwork Orange next.
Yeah,
my 6-year-old did not get Clockwork Orange. He thought it was a comedy.
You're gonna get some hate tweets after that. Like, how could you subject your child to this?
I've gotten a couple on this one. Like a few, most people know. Like they like. All right, there's something that's can't be right. But then a couple people are kind of serious about it. Like they said, you know what, my kids, and it's very funny to see how people react.
Yeah, but, I'm sure. But yeah, the Sting. That's what we're talking about. So yeah, you got the con man, Robert Redford, Johnny Hooker, conning, faking a robbery at the beginning there. Great scene with him, and which I didn't learn until like 2 seconds before the show that Luther. Do you know who Luther is, the actor? It's okay if you don't.
I don't. Not at the top of my head.
He is the father of James Earl Jones. He is where's his name? I just had his name. Damn it. I got it here. I'm so sorry. Oh God. Here, Robert Earl Jones is his name. James Earl Jones' father. I was like, oh, makes sense.
That is I'm glad I know that. That is amazing.
I just blew your mind. I know.
No, it's funny because I was like, all right, I should read up on, and then I was like, you're going to read up on it. I'm going to learn stuff. I don't need to read up.
I'm here for your quotes. I know you're going to be, this is going to be, you have a lot of quotes from this movie, so I'm relying on you.
I'm tweeting that stuff right now. Robert Earl Jones.
But yeah, that's him. But yeah, they do a little they call it a pigeon drop, I guess, on this guy that they don't know is a mobster, and they somehow swindle $10,000 or $11,000 from him, and wrong guy to steal from. Wrong guy
to steal from. Old Robert Doyle Lonigan. You're gonna remember that name. Mr. Shaw, you're going to find yourself another game. God. I mean, it's just anybody listening, if you have not seen it, it's just spectacular. It's funny. As I was thinking about this today, I was like, oh, God, if I could get my 15-year-old to watch this one.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I actually, I mean, it's PG. So like my 10-year-old was sitting for a little bit while we were watching it. He was intrigued a little bit, he was, and then he eventually walked out, but
yeah, it's slightly over, it's like 13, 12, 13,
well, we had to pause 15. The movie. We had to pause the movie to explain to him how it was a scam at the beginning and it wasn't registering. And then, we were like, all right, well, just keep watching. Maybe you'll get it. And then he just walked away. So
that's the voice of the Judge in Cars.
Yes, exactly. Yes, actually, I didn't. I failed to mention that to him. I should have. I should have mentioned that, and then he would have been intrigued. But
Just listen closely.
yeah.
Listen closely.
But yeah, I mean, this is obviously set in 1936. You know, they get this huge amount of money. I looked up the inflation for $11,000. How much do you think that was in today's
So
money?
from 36 to 1973 or 72 or whenever it came out, 73. And then of course now, is $11,000 like 400 grand or something crazy?
It is today. It's 205.
So in 73, it was probably 80 grand.
In 1973, 35 grand. So not yeah, but we'll give you that.
I was not a very good CFO. Like I basically bankrupted the companies.
You know, it happens. You know, it's you had a good life. You know, you had a good life while it lasted. But
Yeah.
but yeah, I had no idea until I did the calculator. But yeah, so he, you know, they get the money and everything. He takes his girl out and he bets $3,000 on
cut. He blows it all.
Yep, blows it all. $3,000 in 1936. Today would be.
Well, if we go 11 to 3 to probably 65 grand.
Close. Flip them. 56 grand.
56.
Yep. So there you go. See that you're getting closer. You're getting to be a better CFO, and he blows it. But then you kind of get the sense of the mob being around during this time. The guy says, "No, let him bet," and then the roulette player pushes a little button underneath to make sure
he that great look that he knows what happened. And he looks up.
Yeah, exactly.
Into the movie. And you know, I don't want to give away the ending, but when he says everybody's divvying up their cuts, and he says I'd probably just blow it. And
yes, and yeah, we don't have to go chronological order or anything. Yeah, if you just want to do it, but yeah, I mean that's kind of, you learn right away in the movie that he could have just bet 1,000, bet 500, but he bets the whole thing, and like you said at the end, he just says I'll just blow it, and he knows that. But it's about him getting back at the guy who essentially, killed his friend and, caused all this to happen. But I love when he meets Paul Newman. That's great when he goes in there. What was that?
At the carousel.
Yes, I love that setting. Like he walks in, it's this like old dinky carousel, inside of a building, and he goes in, there's an empty bed, but he finds, Paul Newman passed out there on the floor, and it's he's not doing too good. He's not doing too good, but it's great. I just love the circumstances in which they meet, now. And then the great line of when he's in the
it's funny, there's just so many spectacular scenes. There's so many spectacular scenes as you go and they start to do it, and then as they're going to do like the initial con on the train, and then that great line, we got spending money, and right. And then they start recruit, and then just like when they have to, the thing when Lonigan wants to meet the guy, and so they have to think on the fly and come up with, all right, we got to come up with an office. And right. And the guy is so great, Harold Gould. What a magnificent actor.
Yes, and I've been trying to think what he's. Sorry, the delay might be. Sorry.
Yeah, and it's probably me.
No, you're good. I get this all the time, so I edit it out. So that's what editing's for.
He's been in. It's funny. He's been in countless movies, and TV shows. Sadly he passed away. It's so crazy. Like at this point, he might have passed away 10 years ago. But he was in. Right now, I can't think of anything. But he was one of those great. Charles Durning, who's also in it. Who plays the cop. he who's after Redford like from the get go,
Yeah, he's
and
in
he's there
Dog Day
like,
Afternoon. Dog Day Afternoon. He's a cop in that as well.
and he like he's just been in a million things.
Yeah. And then
Uh, or like Wilford Brimley, who passed away last year. I think like these guys, they're just like the great. Or Jack Warden was a much bigger version of those guys. He was in a ton of more. He's in like all the Warren Beatty movies and so many other things. But he like these fantastic character actors from that time that were in so many things, and they add a tremendous amount of character
right.
to whatever the heck movie it is or TV show or miniseries, whatever. And it's just, and they're all these great Broadway actors.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's yeah, he's so many people in this. And yeah, I mean, I can't speak enough about, Robert Shaw. Robert Shaw, he's just again such a presence. Like that whole poker scene, like that's got to be one of the best scenes in cinema history. Just yeah, you kind of feel tension, but I see it as more just entertainment and like comedy. The way Paul Newman's acting, and the way he comes in and he's like, "Oh, sorry, I was taking a crap."
Yeah.
So good.
he's just so offensive to the guy.
Right.
And then and it's just what they can do in movies, like how who cheats, whatever, and somebody out cheats somebody else, and who knows what. It's just, and then all the surprises that come up during it, and then the big surprise with the person who's hired to to kill someone. Like, how great was that when because you don't know, and then suddenly, holy shit, when the person that's, I mean, it's just, that's great.
Yeah,
we're not giving anything away, folks.
Oh, but we are. We are, Mr.
All right, well,
Buckley. We are. So if you come this far, we're giving stuff away. So yes, that reveal of what Celino, I believe it was. Yeah. That was that what a reveal.
And then how great is that? Like, there's that great line. It says, "I'm just like you. It's 2 a.m. and I don't know nobody."
Yeah.
Like, it's outside of the whole movie of it. It gives you such a tremendous insight into that guy, that character. Like who that guy is, separate of the movie and all that stuff.
Right.
Good night, Mrs. Lorenzo, or whatever she says to that. Good night, Mrs. The neighbor across the hall.
Right.
Which you then realize, oh, that's, and they'd say it. So 2 minutes, somebody might have seen him. Why didn't he do it? Why didn't she do it last night?
Well, and then back to the poker scene. I don't know if Paul Newman was actually doing this, but at first you just think it's just a cutaway to another hand, like doing the card trick,
right,
pulling up the ace. But then the camera pans up to him. Like, I don't know if there's a quick edit there or if Paul Newman was really doing that. I would definitely be interested, to know that. I should have looked that up. But yeah, that was brilliant. Like, I thought, because it would have been obvious, that it was someone else if they didn't do that pan up.
And I mean, he's the type of guy. I bet he just worked his tail off to learn that stuff. And
yeah,
who knows? Maybe he's one of those amateur magicians, like The Big Bang, How I Met Your Mother. There, God, I'm blanking on his name. I can't believe it. Like, he's apparently like a heck of a magician.
Okay. Yeah.
I can't believe it. What the hell is his name?
Which one? Sheldon? Or
no, not Big Bang Theory. The one, How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, How I Met Your Mother. I'm sorry. Yeah.
He hosted the Emmys. He.
Oh, Doogie Howser.
Yeah.
It's still
exactly.
not his name.
I think that's his given name.
Yeah. Doogie Howser.
But he's like a real deal magician. It's funny. He has a great.
Harris.
Yes, he has a great show. I don't know if it's still on, but it was on for about a year on Sirius XM. there was just like 1 hour a week, and it was like basically, politics or world events for like, idiots, if you will,
Yeah.
like, not really idiots, just like normal people who like, all right, and why is that conflict going on? Like, what is the thing? I know something's going on over there. Um, and he would just have on these, these people times, and but it was like, oh man, what a show! It's
Yeah.
and like what a perfect show, because it's like, I don't really know what's going, like, what happened between like Turkey and, you know or
Yeah.
whatever, and it's so it was great.
Yeah.
Anyway,
No,
but
definitely.
I bet Newman probably, like, I remember there was a time I was around another, incredible actor, James Caan, and he was talking about, there was like a period of a few years where we were buddies. This is like 30 years ago. It was crazy. It's a whole other story. And
30 years ago, you were talking to James Conn.
you have a fight, street fight, anywhere, whatever, on a beach, I don't know, at
Yeah.
a basketball court. Like, if you're in an altercation, any other person that you would want on your team, on your side, than him. I mean,
Oh,
he's
I'm
like
sure.
toughest, he's probably still, he's obviously so much older now. I haven't seen him in a long time, but holy crap, was he a tough son of a bitch, and just a great guy, and funny as hell, and just basically just like, Sonny Corleone.
Yeah.
Um, however, exceptionally, like an exceptional, piano player, could play anything on the piano, like ragtime, like, the Joplin thing, ragtime stuff, to classical stuff, to rock and roll, like anything.
Yeah.
He was amazing,
Yeah.
and um, I think it's guys of that generation who, like, yeah, shit, okay, I gotta do card tricks, I gotta learn them.
Right.
And like, in his example, it was God, it was this movie he did with Sally Field. Oh, I forget what it was called, but he said, he studied tap dancing for like 2 months, and like, he was great, and it got cut out basically. He's like, God, I fucking cut it out. He says,
Yeah.
I had like a little 2-minute tap dancing thing. Like, I worked my nuts off, and they cut it out of the movie because, it didn't fit or whatever. It happens all
Right.
the time. But yeah. So anyway, I bet Newman
Yeah, definitely.
got
Yeah, I
to the
mean,
point where he could do that believably on film, at least.
oh, definitely. And I love the little wink he gives, the charming, Paul Newman wink after he does it. It's just yeah, just even as a man, I'm just like, you
And
got
just the
me.
whole feel of it, like when the other guy, Joe, the guy who came in when he was joining the crew, who was part of the thing with Redford and
Yeah.
Luther at the beginning. God, what's that guy's name? Jack Kehoe. Jack Kehoe is the actor's name. Another one of these magnificent, characters. But I think that's his name. I don't know if you're looking at it now. I might be wrong.
Yeah, Jack
But
Jack Kehoe played Erie.
Erie, I was gonna say, yeah, and just like the feel of, like, when they're signing people up, and it's like, did you get that? Did you get that Shiner and Jenkins bar last night? Like, I can't remember the scene. He's like, yeah,
Yeah.
and he just wanted to help out, do whatever he can. You ever been on a big con? Nah, I just want to do something to help. Luther was,
Yeah.
and you just like get that whole feel, that like great feel of these guys who are like trying to stick it to the bastard that killed their friend.
Right. Yeah, and they're trying to stick it to him, and it's interesting because Robert Redford says when he first meets Paul Newman how you know Paul Newman's like really like asking like why you want to go after him, why you got to go after him, and then finally Redford's like, I don't know enough about killing to kill him. So it's
Right.
like he doesn't want to get revenge that way, which I think makes the movie even more intriguing, makes the characters more intriguing. They're gonna get him where it really hurts. If you just kill him, he's
He's
dead.
gone.
And
Yeah.
yeah, he's not gonna this prideful man who is mad that a guy's showing up to a poker game drunk without a tie and all this you're not going to get to him by killing him. You really got to get him where it hurts, and that's
That'd be
what
real nice of you there, Mr. Lolligan.
well,
He just kept fucking
oh,
up.
I just love how he kept mispronouncing his name. It's just filled me with such joy every time that happens. And even when he comes into the wire or whatever it was, the little thing they set up with the horse races. He comes in. He says, "Oh, hey, Mr. Hannigan." Like he just keeps just busting his balls over and over. It's
This
so
is
great.
my joint.
Now
Yeah.
I was frozen
Go
again.
ahead.
No, I was just thinking, like, because I rewatched it again tonight. Because I watched it like last week. I was like, yeah, I'll just flip it on again just to refresh my memory a little. And I was thinking, like, well, why is Lonigan doing this? Why doesn't he send one of his henchmen or something? But then I came to the realization. I think it's because he's so prideful and he's so, I'm going to be the one to get back at this guy.
Right.
Yeah. So I think it just speaks to his.
We're gonna
character.
Bust that bastard bookie in one play.
And I'm going to use this a lot now. He said this multiple times in the movie, but you follow?
You follow? Yeah, of course.
It's so. He must have said it like 5-6 times in the movie, but it works so well. And
one thing I did. He, how he has the limp. I guess that was real. He completely like screwed up his hip or his knee or something like a week before filming.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I don't know if it was like just, frankly, if he was like drunk and he fell, or if he was playing tennis. Like who knows? Like who knows what it was? And I don't know what the story was, but who knows what the real thing was? But apparently, like he actually was walking around with a limp for many months. So
interesting. It was. I thought it was an interesting choice for the character, but if it being real, that makes it even cooler. Did so the FBI thing. So there's so many like misdirections and like everything in this movie. So you got the Salino character, and then the FBI. You don't know what's going on with that. You like really think like Robert Redford is
oh, don't give it away. But it's great. It's great. Like that's one of the things that's so, and they make that part so believable with what is going to happen if to someone's widow, if you don't do this, we're gonna
right.
Robert Earl Jones' wife is going up to she was quite a grifter in her day, or whatever the FBI guy says.
Right.
You son of a bitch. You son of a bitch.
I think I had to look up what I assumed what grifter was by just their use of it, but I had to look it up for sure to see what that. It's just interesting that they use that word. There's so many terminologies here that
are. And there's actually, speaking of Warren Beatty, there's a pretty cool movie, and it was really like the first big movie Annette Bening that I saw her in, and I think that a lot of people saw her in, called The Grifters.
Okay.
It was in the late 80s, I bet. It's probably about right. And she was very young. Not a kid young, but I'm sure in her 20s, if not like maybe her pushing 30. She had gone to Annette Bening had gone to ACT, the theater school in San Francisco, and which is where Denzel Washington went also, and many people, I'm sure. And it's funny, like I don't know how she became like what it was that like, but that's anyway, that thing, The Grifters, and it's it's about like I think John Cusack's in it too, and I mean she's who I remember, and it's about con people, like
right.
pulling off a con and blah blah blah, and it's but anyway, so that's the word grifter.
Yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, people who con, people who swindle is what it is. And yeah, there's different sayings they use. Forget uh Robert references something about someone being a Jake or something, or him being a Jake. I was like, what the hell does that mean? Like I assume it was a 30s phrase, not a 70s phrase, but yeah, that stuck out to me. But uh
I think that's a good, like, if everything's Jake is a good, means it's good. I'm. It's funny. I'm pretty sure that's what that means, but I don't remember. It's really funny. I didn't get the chance to watch the movie, so I'm literally going based on, I probably
yeah,
haven't seen it in 10 years, although I would love to see it again. It's just so many great movies, and there's so many great movies I haven't seen too. That's the other thing.
yeah.
Movies. I mean, the great movies are just, you learn so much. You learn so much about yourself and about life,
Yeah, and
and
that's why I like doing this podcast too, just like kind of talking about the movie and just like, you kind of discover new things, through the person you're talking with, or just you come up with these ideas just by talking through it, and you do learn from it, and it's almost like therapy in that way,
it's funny. This one is just such a fun,
Yeah,
entertaining blast of a movie. Like
right.
it's not The Godfather, like intense, like shit that appeals to your macho stuff, and among other things, and
Right.
looks magnificent, and it's a real deal movie, and it's not like I don't know, a drama or
Yeah,
whatever, but it's
it's
just like fantastic entertainment that
yeah,
has so many twists, and you're like, oh my god.
exactly. Like it's not one of those that's, has all these metaphors and symbolism. No,
Yeah.
it's a fun movie, and it's just so enjoyable to watch. Like you said, seeing the twists and turns and all that, especially at the end where, the certain thing happens and you're like, what? But then it's like, oh, okay. I see what's going on. And one thing I do want to mention though, it's they set up that whole wire thing. Uh,
Yeah.
uh, they have like bars in front of in front of where you
The
pay the guy.
windows when he
Yeah,
when he's
yeah. There's like bars right there, but like you can just walk right around it and
right.
you're fine. Like at one point, the guy does walk around it. It's like, so what's the point of the bars? But you guys forgot to build extra bars there. But that's just me, looking at flaws because I'm a negative person. So uh,
Well, you wouldn't be doing this if you were a negative person.
yeah, I know. But yeah, I mean, that's yeah, Robert Redford, Paul Newman. I mean, they just have such great chemistry. Paul Newman just I again need to even check out more of his films. I got some blind spots there. He's just so fun to watch and so charismatic, and it's crazy. Have you had the pleasure of meeting Robert Redford ever?
Now, you know what's funny? I did, and it was so exciting.
Yeah.
And I got to, and later on, I got to know just a teensy little bit his, and he may have more than one daughter, but his daughter Amy, my wife, she worked with my, like, was a student, I guess, or client, I guess I should say, of my wife. She's more of a producer, but she did some acting. And then our kids were in the same preschool, like, so I met her. But so anyway,
Yeah.
that's that little story. But I got to go visit the set of Indecent Proposal
Oh,
25, 30 years ago, whenever that
wow.
was. And it just happened to be a day that he was filming. And it was one of these things where, like, and I was with a buddy of mine, and so we get to go on, and we're gonna go say hi to the person that we know that's working, like, on the thing. Like, hey, thanks for getting us in, man. This is freaking awesome. And we turn the corner, and at the end of, like, this hallway, where they're gonna, like, do some long, is Redford sitting in this chair in like the white suit that he had in that movie for some of the scenes, and they're lighting him, and it was like, who is, like, who's that movie star? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
That guy looks incredible. I mean, he literally just like was, that's what a movie star looks like, man. That's it. And it
Yeah.
was just like,
It's
and it's,
crazy. Yeah, it's crazy how you can just recognize them like that. Like it's just like, wow, whoa, that guy shines.
and it was really wild. And he, and then we just, got to say a quick hello, and it was, and in a movie that, and it certainly is in my, top two or three. It was such a powerful movie, is Ordinary People, the one
Oh,
that, it was the first one he directed.
yeah.
And it's like one of the few movies that I sat twice in the movie theater. Like the same day, like I saw it at 7, and I saw it at 9, and
Oh,
my
wow.
parents were like, "Shit, is Andy okay? Do you know what this movie's about?" Like, holy crap, should we be talking to Andy more? Is he upset? Um, but so that was fun to get to say that. But and it's funny, I've seen that's two other times I've seen people, and it's been like that. And one time it was, the other time it was, I got to, I mean, I was there, I had a little part in the movie, but in Jurassic World, I flew down. They were my stuff, and they mostly filmed that stuff in Hawaii, but then they filmed in New Orleans like 5 weeks. Um, and I, like, at the house at the beginning of the movie, and then at the end, like the stuff I'm in was down in New Orleans. But then they also did some stuff outside, the huge like pen where the raptors were, like the four raptors were.
Right.
And there's a scene where they're getting ready, and it's too, like, Chris Pratt's like, okay, here, if we're doing this, we're doing it my way. Here's what we're doing. We're gonna blah blah blah. And I got to the set to go say hi to Colin, the director, and I, same sort of thing, like I turned the corner and they're lighting it, and they're about to rehearse, and Pratt's there, and I was like, holy shit, he looks like a freaking, movie star.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things, and it was like, and
Yeah.
he's obviously he's a modern guy, and blah blah blah, and it was
Right.
on
Yeah.
TV and all that stuff, but like, in Redford's just, but it was and then I saw Will Smith in person once, like I was pulling into this hotel, and he was like getting into his car at the valet, and I think I was actually dropping someone off, or whatever. Like, I don't know what it was, but anyway, he in his car, like a big Range Rover, and it was like, oh my God, look at him! Like, he's that thing, like he's not even lit up or anything, but like
Right.
the guy's just shining. It's like, that's freaking Will Smith. Like,
Right.
he's like, and I'm sure
Yeah.
Cruz is like, I mean, all these guys. I'm sure I've never seen Brad Pitt, but I'm sure,
Yeah.
it's like there's a reason. That's one of the reasons that they are who they are, because they just look a certain incredible way.
Yeah, they just, obviously shine on screen, but if they shine in real life, obviously they're gonna do that. It's yeah, because I mean, I'll see someone at a grocery store who's not famous at all, but like you like see them and you're like, do I recognize that person? Like, what? Why do they? But they probably could have made it in Hollywood if they knew the effect they had. But it's
I can have some semblance of career. They can have some sense of a career.
say that again.
I ain't
Sorry,
nothing
it was
special.
chopping up.
Oh, I just said, if I can have, some semblance of a career, then, pretty much, most people can, because I'm
You're freaking
basically a regular schmo.
Yeah, you're freaking David Wallace, man. I mean, so yeah, I might as well say now, like, me and my wife always talk about just how much we love your character and love just love how you seem so genuine and seem like a nice guy. And I've now learned that you truly are a nice guy. And it's, yeah, it's been a real treat, talking about this, with you. So I just wanted to at least mention that to you, but,
Well,
what?
thank you, Ben.
Okay.
Please thank your wife.
Yeah, I will.
Please thank the missus.
For sure. So yeah, I mean that's if you have not seen The Sting, you definitely got to check it out. It's a all-time classic. It won Best Picture between both Godfathers. It
Yeah,
won,
yeah,
this is Godfather
that's
one
right.
in 72, this one in 73, and then Godfather 2 one in 74, or for the year 74. So yeah, it's totally worth your time, or about a 2 hour run time, so not too long or anything. And yeah, if you just want to see handsome men on screen, check it out,
Yeah, exactly.
So
Exactly. That's,
anything else you wanted to say about The Sting that we didn't mention? Did I forget anything?
no, I mean, it's just it's like a perfect movie. Like the
Yeah,
script is perfect, the costumes are perfect, the music, how it looks. It's like everything, and it's just like everything about it's like it's like this might be a perfect movie. I
yeah.
mean, and
What are your thoughts on the transitions? Like they like keep like usually in like
yeah,
movies,
like the Saturday Evening Post headlines. Yeah, that
yeah,
was
yeah,
great.
yeah. Like
Yeah,
Tarantino, I think like does that like in like it's a new segment, so he calls it this. But yeah, this one had like art and stuff. Like yeah, that I found that very unique.
and
Um,
I guess, and if you like, you probably won't watch it again, but I guess what the director wanted also was he's he looked as an homage to all the old Jimmy Cagney movies, blah blah blah, all that. He wanted to have that feel, and he noticed or read and then noticed that they didn't use very many extras or background people.
yeah,
So there's it's not like there's a lot of in many of the scenes they're in the casino or they're in the the betting place and there's people everywhere obviously, but then just like sort of scenes where they're walking down the street or they're just various scenes, it's not like he felt the need to put people in the background to make it more believable. Like he just
right.
went with basically the production design that the God, I forget who I know Edith Head, who's one of the all-time like great costume designers. She did the costumes for it, but I
I
can't
know it
remember who
won
the
for costume.
yeah, I
It
can't
won
remember who
for
like the production designer was.
I wouldn't. I would not know that ever, but
Yeah,
I'm gonna look it up right now. Let's see here. Costume designer was art direction Henry Bumstead, James Payne, costume design Edith Head. Didn't you
yeah,
already say that? Yeah.
but no, but yeah, but the production designer, which is probably art direction,
Yeah, yeah.
it's like
Henry
one in the same.
Bumstead, James Payne.
Who
So
and I'm sure like I don't really know art directors or production designers really. I have a couple of friends who are now, but like back then, and I'm sure those guys were like the you know were the number one guys going. They were the Michael Jordans of art design,
oh
art
yeah,
direction. I'm sure.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's
Uh,
funny. Yeah, we were watching it again tonight. My wife was like, "Man, the costumes in this are awesome." And then she looked up. She's like, "Oh, it won costume design. I guess
yeah,
I'm a good film viewer now." So, so yeah, she got a kick out of that. So, but yeah,
but no, if no, it's
great.
if anybody wants like one of the all-time great
Yeah,
fun con movies.
it's yeah, and it aged so well, and yeah, it's just well, there's some things that you might not have gotten away with today, maybe I don't know, but yeah, either way, aged very well, and yeah, good stuff. I'm so glad you chose this movie, and we were able to speak on it a little. And yeah, Robert Shaw's the man. I'm gonna check out more of his movies. That's for sure. Do you have a recommendation for me on a Robert Shaw movie besides Jaws?
Um, well, yeah, I was just say besides Jaws, yeah, there's one called Black Sunday. It was Robert Shaw and Bruce Dern and
Is that the
oh,
football one? The foot.
on Super Bowl Sunday. Yeah,
Okay, I've heard about it. Yeah, I've never
yeah.
seen it though. So,
I mean it's not a football. It's like it's more of like a intrigue and
right.
frankly
Yeah.
like old school terrorism sort of thing. Um, like guys trying to do internationally bad things, and the Super Bowl is a something's going to take place during the Super Bowl.
Sure. Yeah.
And but it's he's definitely had a few others. I just can't think of them right now. It's funny. He was a playwright. He wrote this great Man in the Glass Toll Booth. Just one, and it's really, who told me some crazy story about him just being hammered one night, and he'd just gotten a brand new Rolls Royce like this. It was Malcolm McDowell told this story.
Oh.
So he was. I have a little part in Bombshell, the movie Bombshell.
Oh yeah, yes, great movie.
And so Malcolm is in that. Speaking of Clockwork Orange, I guess.
Yeah, wow,
he plays Rupert Murdoch. He's in it. For 10, 15 minutes or whatever. And but then and it's really funny. I think he was telling a bunch of stories that day, and I don't know. I was only around for a few of them. But one of them was a Robert Shaw story, and he was just telling this. He's like, he was absolutely hammered, and it's like 3 a.m, and they're somewhere in, like, I don't know if it was Barcelona or somewhere, working on some movie. And Shaw had this, brand new, like, convertible Rolls Royce, and he just thought it was the greatest thing. And he's like, fuck, we'll cut through the alley. They're driving home and they're hammered. And Malcolm's like, I don't know if you can fit through there. And he's like, we can fit through there. And it's just, and they go and they can't fit through there. And like, he just totals the car and it's smashed.
Oh man!
And they just get out, leave the car. And Shaw's like, fuck it. They'll send me another one tomorrow. And like the next day, another freaking Rolls Royce. It's like just the insanity.
Oh man, yeah, that's man. How they
Peter O'Toole's, the Robert Shaws, those guys, the Oliver Reeds.
How they lived it up back then, man. No wonder so many people died so young back then.
Yeah, and no wonder they all looked like much older than they were. But gosh, they were fantastic.
Did you ask McDowell any Clockwork Orange questions?
No, it was, and I didn't. I was there when he was telling the story, and I was just happy to be there. And I
wasn't sure if you asked these guys questions, because I was like hesitant to like ask you about The Office, because I wasn't sure if you.
No, I mean, obviously you can feel free, but I figure he's like told, but I bet I heard he was telling stories about Mick Jagger, which would have been really fun to hear.
Yeah.
And it's because that's the thing. It's like, shit, Malcolm McDowell, like when that movie came out, he's probably like one of the biggest stars in the world, so it's like,
especially in the big cinephile world, the people who are really into movies, definitely know who he is. Yeah, definitely. I forgot he was in Bombshell. That's good call. And I forgot you were in Lady Bird. I'm looking at your IMDb right now. But
for 10 seconds.
Hey, you were in it though. Great film.
First Beanie Feldman,
Feinstein.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not Feldman, but Beanie Feinstein is that's terrible because she's so sweet. Edit that out.
I'll say it again. Say it now. New take.
I'll just say Beanie is just the greatest. She's so freaking talented. I went and saw her. Like, I was there. I was around the set for about 3 days, and she, but I'm there, like, in scenes. I'm not really doing much, but it was such a blast to get to know her. And then I saw her on Broadway. She's a great song and dance person with Bette Midler. It's one of these big giant, musicals.
Right.
That I'm getting older and I start blanking on names and things, but it was just, and she's Jonah Hill's sister,
Right. Yeah. It was Feldstein, so you got it right anyway. So.
Yeah. so she kept her, their real name and or their given name, I guess. And Jonah changed his, but Saoirse Ronan it's like, holy crap.
Yeah.
I don't know how she does it. Like, you're sitting there, and again, like, I have one line, I'm there, I'm like in, I'm just kind of in scenes. I'm not, a couple of little scenes I'm in. But I'm around, and it's funny. They're huge. The two of them are huge bridesmaids fans.
Yeah.
The fact
Who
that
isn't?
like,
Who isn't?
yeah.
Come on.
Well, it's funny just the fact that like I was in Bridesmaids for even less time than I am in Lady Bird.
I, I
They
was
just
I was gonna introduce you as instead of David Wallace as uh
Helen's husband.
Rose Byrne's husband
Yeah,
from
yeah,
from
there you go.
Bridesmaids.
But so it was like it was just fun because they were peppering me with questions about it. But it's crazy. Like you're talking to her, to Saoirse, and which is how you pronounce her name.
Right.
I mean, it had to be, phonetically sounded out to me. And, but she's sitting there, and she got this great Irish accent, and she's telling stories about like, I'm here and it's St. Patty's Day and all I want to do is go just get a fucking pint of Guinness and they're giving me shit because I'm only 19. I'm like, oh, come on, blah, blah, blah. And then they say, okay, we're ready. Like they've lit the scene and they're going to do take two. And then she just kind of turns, and I don't know what she does or whatever, but like somewhere in that turn of being like the Irish kid talking about Guinness and, fucking pubs, she turns and she's suddenly this, 17-year-old
Right.
girl from Sacramento, and pimples kind of suddenly, I don't know how they appear,
But yeah,
it's just like she's like one of these Meryl Streep types. It's just
yeah,
amazing.
she's that character. She's not so Saoirse Ronan anymore in that moment. She becomes that character, and
Yeah.
it's man, that's insane. But
It was
yeah,
wild. I mean, that's like my few days. That's what I saw. It was
yeah.
insane.
Other than Avenue 5, what do you have any other projects you're working on or anything, or that you have coming up that you can talk about?
I get the Phil Mickelson commercial if you're for any golf fans.
Oh, I know you're a big golfer. It's yeah.
It's just funny. It runs all the time.
Yeah.
It's a thing for a company called Workday. He plays my business caddy. It's actually it's a really great fun commercial.
I've seen you tweet about it. I don't think I've ever seen the commercial though, so I need to watch more TV. I guess
there you go. It's but it's
we actually
funny.
use Workday at work. Anyways, go ahead.
Oh, well, that's the thing. It's so funny. They're such a huge company, and Phil is such a smart, engaging guy. He literally could be like head of marketing at Workday. Like you ask him a question about that, he says, "Well, you know what, Andy? Here's the great thing about Workday. The difference between them." And he has the ability to seem like, and I'm sure he does. Like it's not. I'm sure he's one of those guys that. Oh, Brady's pissed. I got the football game on.
Oh,
and he's like screaming at I happen to look up and like Brady's yelling at one of his receivers for missing a pass.
Score.
But no, I got to do this movie, this really sweet, lovely, wonderful movie that hopefully comes out somewhere, maybe by year's end or next year, with Mira Sorvino, who's sweet. She Rome wedding and she or high school reunion or Romeo Michelle's high school reunion. But no, she won. She's Paul Sorvino's daughter. First, like that's her dad. But she won. She actually won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress when she was like 26. For this movie, Mighty Aphrodite, a Woody Allen movie, and she's quite funny in it, and she plays like this, hooker with a heart of gold type thing.
Yeah.
But she has like this super high pitched, not Jennifer Tilly high pitched voice, but and she does not in life. Like she's great with accents. It's really wild. Even in the movie that we were in Chicago. I was like, I can't do it. She could like a believable like I don't want it to be like, the fucking guy's accent's horrible.
Right.
So I didn't really worry about it too much. And it was like, all right, well, I moved here I moved here as a kid, or something like that. Like it was, sometimes people try to do accents and it's distracting. But she's not that. She has this, great, terrific ability.
What's it called? What's
it's a nice romantic comedy. It's not our romance, but it's our daughter's. It's called Most guys are losers.
Oh.
And it's based on a book that a guy who there's a guy in real life who owns like 30 bars, and he has 3 daughters, and he has a son too, but the 3 daughters were all going to be going off to college, and he wrote like this pamphlet initially and then expanded it into a book. And
Okay. Yeah,
it's like
it's not even on IMDb yet. So, you're breaking news here. Maybe it is. No, not on hers.
Yeah, so we're husband and wife, and
Okay.
our daughter brings home the guy, who's the guy, and and I'm like, I don't like him. He seems like a loser.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. And then
okay.
The story goes, and of course he's not a loser, and I've come to realize how short-sighted I was, and blah, all
How
that
dare
stuff.
you? How dare you? But
But
that's the whole movie. You can, we know what happens now. So
yeah, and there's other stuff in it that's and it's based on this guy's real the guy who I play, Mark Berzins is his name. It's based on his life. Like the romance side of it is that's it's sort of made up for movie stuff, but there's a whole he brought into his family like a nephew that was a transgender nephew that was being poorly treated and by his who was this guy's Mark's sibling, and then the poor kid was out on the streets, and so there's a whole it's certainly very timely in the world these days, but there's a whole different aspect to it that isn't just like the sweet lovely not that it's gritty or whatever. It's a beautiful story with with on that side, not to give it away, but
No,
so there's a lot of beauty in the movie all over, and and Chicago's a fun. We filmed it in a suburb of Chicago, but
okay, yeah, we went to Chicago 2 years in a row just because we love that city. Great city. Because we're here in. It's funny you mentioned the Bucks game. I was going to ask you what the score was because we're here in Tampa. So
you want me to tell you? It's it's now 16. Tampa's up 16-14.
Okay, fourth quarter.
And they showed a replay of the play, and I can see why Brady was pissed.
Okay, I'll watch the highlights.
Yeah.
I'm from Detroit originally, so
I noticed the hat. Yeah, you're a Barry Sanders fan.
Yeah, it, and I was a Michigan fan, so like I've always liked Brady. Even when people hated the Patriots and everything, I've always had a thing for Brady because he played for Michigan, and
that's right.
Him coming to where I live now was exciting. So it's the first year I've been excited for the Bucks. So
he's following you.
That's right. You had tweeted something to me about the Ohio State is better than Michigan though. So like were you
Yeah, as a joke, because I had looked, that's right. I looked up and I saw you were a big Michigan fan, so I purposely did an Ohio State thing.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you like went there or like were a fan. So
no, it was I did just 20 seconds of research, enough to like come up with an attempt at a joke.
That's good. No, I appreciate the jokes. I appreciate the jabs. But yeah, man, it's been an absolute pleasure talking with you.
It's been my pleasure, Ben. And,
no.
I don't know if I've mentioned this yet. My teenage son, the one who popped his head in, he is also Ben.
Oh, cool! Look at that. So we have something in common. So
exactly,
easy name to remember for you. So, all right, man. Well, it's been great, and then I'll do an outro. Blah blah blah. But yeah, no, I appreciate. I'm glad we were able to finally get this in the books, and I'm sorry for peppering you so much.
Put in the time. You put in the effort to frickin' finally get me to commit.
I was persistent. I've said this with a couple guests now that I've nailed, or not. That sounds weird, but I've done it with a couple guests that I've booked, just persistence is key in this business, man. Persistence is key. So,
Well, you do it with a sense of humor too, so it's
yeah,
that helps.
it's like it doesn't hurt to ask, and if they block me, they block me, which hasn't happened yet. So that's good.
Well, I'm sure we'll be DMing on the Twitter.
I hope so, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And again, love you as David Wallace. And yeah, again, me and my wife are big.
What is your wife's name, by the way?
Lauren.
Lauren, please say hello and thanks to Lauren.
Yeah, give her a little message. Say hi, Lauren.
Hi, Lauren. David Wallace here, Dunder Mifflin Paper. If you ever want to get in the paper business, please consider us. We are thinking about opening up a Tampa branch, and you might just be the Michael Scott of the Tampa branch. You might be regional manager.
She's gonna love that. So thank you. All right, man.
Thank you, Ben.
Too long. So sorry, but thank you so much for making the time, my man.
My pleasure, and I'll be chatting with you. And thanks for this. Go watch the Sting, people.
All right, man. Take it easy.
See you, Ben.
See you.